Ms. Klotz, welcome to the Align Founder podcast. How are you feeling?
Good. Really excited to be here.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Yeah.
We just started off the proceedings with a little breathwork journey before.
Yes.
So how was that experience for you? That was probably your maybe 10th journey or so?
I think so. I think I started last October. So yeah, half a year kind of thing we're doing this now. I mean, it's really different every time.
Sure.
And the other sessions I did with Renee, so we just met in Bali, right? Over New Year's. So it was really good. It's always a relief and make me more centered in my, I would say, day-to-day life.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm torn apart by different tasks I do during the day, and then when I go to breathwork, I kind of can process it, and then it's like a journey and a trip, but then I wake up and I'm back, I don't know, here in the surroundings. And
back in the 3D world.
Back in the 3D world, in the real world. And it makes me more centered and grounded to proceed my day.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what insights or what came up today?
Today, it was really about my core values related to my work, because I think in the field I work it's sometimes misunderstood, and I really have to explain and educate a lot what I do. And then I get so many ideas and also projection of insecurities of the people I work with, that I always need to find back my center and my values, like what do I want to do, like what am I doing, and where I want to go, like where do I want to push my projects and intentions.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I think that's a nice segue into like what it is you do. So maybe you can like introduce a bit about like your title and your company and a bit about the work that you do.
Sure. So my name is Katharina. I'm an interior architect, and I work with private residential clients and hospitality clients here in Berlin. I started my own practice 2 years ago. And since then it's been a beautiful journey of challenges every day and beautiful projects I finished, and I don't know, creating a team, personal growth, and again, a lot of challenges. So.
Yeah, it's kind of welcome to being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And so how many people do you have on the team?
At the moment, we're 4, so 4 including me. So
nice.
3, yeah.
And you mentioned like working with private residential.
Yeah.
What does that mean to someone who has no idea about that world?
So people come to me when they want to buy a place or a home, or sometimes they already have a place. Yeah. And often they say, hey, we've been living here for 10 years, we never fell home, and we try to, I don't know, go furniture shopping, we change some wall colors, but we're still not feeling home, we don't know why. And then I think it's a really people business. I need to get to know the people and then understand why this place is not matching the personality or the character or the need they have. And that's also the best case. And once you have this understanding of the people, you can really start working with them and, I don't know, recreate their space. So it's a little bit also of a spiritual journey, or like to tap in their needs, where they're coming from, because they usually work in different fields and they don't really know what, I don't know, a room or space perception does to them.
Yeah, very interesting. It's funny, I had 2 other founders yesterday also talking about like building marketing funnels as a spiritual journey. So I think just life is just a big old spiritual journey, isn't it?
Probably, yeah.
But yeah, no, super interesting. And so who are the typical kind of people that show up on your doorstep that you tend to work with? What's their background?
They're really successful, or usually they work in big corporates, or they own big corporates, or they used to have big corporates. That's the people I usually work with, and I don't know, they're really cultured and they're really specialized and good in what they do. So I think they're always looking for somebody that is really good and specialized what they do. Like I think the expectations is always really high, because they're really also hard on themselves, but just in a different field.
Sure.
So, and then I think what fulfills me working with them is also because you kind of get to know them and they show you like a little different side of the world, while I'm just doing, I don't know, surfaces and finishes.
Yeah.
They having like different background stories, and you can also, I don't know, see a different world with them. It's really interesting, yeah.
So it's kind of like come for the lamps and stay for the people.
Exactly.
And why would someone from this, it seems like just the corporate is the thread there, you know? They own corporate, they used to own corporate, they're in corporate. Why would someone like that specifically come to you? What is it that you can offer them that maybe isn't available anywhere else or is rare in the market?
I think I give them a different perception. I think that's really, I don't know, I think that's my USP is that I traveled a lot when I already was quite young, and I saw like different cultures, different way to work with. So also I'm really good, I think, in reading people and work different ways, because I kind of see what they need from me.
Yeah.
I'm not like, I don't know, I'm not like this running this dictatorship where I'm like, I only do things like this, because I also don't believe in this. I think my own personal growth and the growth in other people that work with me is in, I don't know, this exchanging ideas, brainstorming, going forward, and then, of course, giving my professional advice on things, how, I don't know, how things work in a day-to-day, or what makes you more comfort in, I don't know, use dark colors in a bedroom, simple thing, you know. Like,
sure.
Yeah.
Nice. And so that's a nice little rabbit hole we could go down, which is, you mentioned you've traveled a lot growing up in your past. So tell me a little bit about that, like some of these travels you've done early on, which you feel shaped who you are and like what you're doing now today.
I also have to say, so I'm dyslexic. This is actually how I started, so with a big disadvantage in life. But I was really lucky that my family kind of noticed that early on and gave me like the special education that I needed. So in order for me to learn a second language, I need to go abroad. Like, I'm not a person who can open a book and just read and understand. Like, I'm so jealous that some people can do this, but for me, it's just not possible. And this also opened a door for me to experience new places. Like when I was 16, I think big turning point is that my parents sent me to New Zealand because I also knew I wanted to do something creative. There in school, you can do like photography, fashion and design, so you already kind of can see if like the specialty in university will fit and suit you. Yeah. So that was like a win-win-win, and it also made me always, I don't know, start from point zero and then, make friends, meet people, like how you get around, how things work, live in a different system. Yeah. And after this, I kind of was so curious that I always, I don't know, went on another trip. Sure. And then I went like to Taiwan, because I don't know, before I went to Italy. So it's like kind of, I always tried to be like super curious in a field, because I also know like the creative industry is a super hard industry. Yeah. And you have to be, I don't know, like you're constantly competing, and you have to be better than your classmates in university. So I applied for more internships that I had to do. I was working during my studies, and then kind of I always, I don't know, ask my bosses like, hey, can I go somewhere? Do you know anyone? And then it always
send me places.
Send me places. And yeah, it ended up that I lived and worked in Milan for a super famous architecture practice, like Daniel Liebeskind. Yeah, it was really mind-blowing. After this, I kind of thought I might switch to architecture, which in the end didn't really happen, because I also love fabric, surface, and materials. So that's a reason why I kind of stick to the field interior architecture. Yeah, and then after this, Taiwan, and then of course all of a sudden your friends worldwide, you always keep meeting them somewhere else. And then when I was 29, I moved to New York, because I also had friends from Taiwan who lived there, so I kept visiting for multiple times, and moved there for love, stayed because I liked it, and then COVID hit and it pushed me out.
So went for the people, stayed for the lamps. Yeah.
So and then Berlin really called, like it was Berlin calling, like it really wanted me. I don't know, received messages on Instagram like, hey, like they're looking for someone, and then I was like, okay, let's check it out. And started here, and then because in New York I was doing hospitality design, so basically designed hotels. And then during COVID, you can imagine it didn't really went well.
Sure, yeah.
So I kind of needed to find a new niche, and here in Berlin, like working with residential people was really good during this time. So I decided, why not? It's like it's a new perspective in my job, and it's a good chance. So I don't know. I took the chance, moved to Berlin, and now I'm looking back. I always thought I would stay here for 2 weeks, 6 weeks, and then I return back to the US, and now I have my own practice. I have people working for me, so I never really expected or knew what the city held for me, which is exciting, also a bit scary. Yeah.
What would you say are the main differences and the main similarities between Berlin and New York?
The main differences is there's no high rises. No rooftop parties.
Or Germans.
The differences, I think that's about it. So I also have American clients that have vacation places here, and they always say what they love about the place is actually what I hate about this place. So they love that it feels like a village, like a small town, but it's actually pretty big in a city.
Sure, yeah.
So, and I miss the high rises, like when you are, I don't know, somewhere in Midtown, you just look up, it's like, you can feel like, I don't know, the vibrant city.
Yeah.
And I never have this feeling here because it's just, it feels like a town or like a small village. I mean, it's actually not. And the similarities are, I think people are really progressive. I think Berlin is probably more progressive than New York actually is, because I think it's more like this American conservative way of living in some ways. So I think that's pretty similar. Like people are really progressive.
In Berlin?
In Berlin.
Yeah, nice. So what would you say then, in that journey, going from early on traveling, having these lots of different experiences, for someone who's never really traveled and maybe just stayed in their home country all the time, what do you think, what life skills are they maybe not getting, or what are they missing out on by not having those experiences, whether it's early in life or just deciding at 40 to start traveling,
I mean, I think it's kind of a lifestyle I got pushed into because of my disadvantage, and I think I'm extremely resilient to like new circumstances. When COVID hit New York and the whole company got laid off, I wasn't really so desperate. I was just like, okay, that just means like packing up my stuff and, being 2 weeks back home and then returning, which didn't happen. But I think I'm really resilient to new situations. I think if you just used to your environment and something changes, it's probably really traumatizing for you. Like for a person that never went abroad or never was somewhere else where you, I don't know, just had a backpack and I don't know, were like in survival mode, kind of thing. It's just like you need to take the situation as they come. Yeah. And I think I'm pretty good in this. And also with my job on construction side, like I take things day by day and see as it come. Sometimes, I don't know, it freaks me out, and sometimes I'm like, okay, it's just another day in craziness. Yeah. There's some experiences I've had when traveling. Like I think, funny enough, our lovely cameraman here, Shad, is from India. I had a few challenging experiences in India, but one was like I was taking a bus like from central India to Mumbai, and it was like a 19-hour bus or something. And after 1 hour, the AC broke. And it was like a nighttime bus, and it was like driving through like the center of, and it was like, there was a part of me that was of course suffering, and then a part of me was just laughing at like, of like, this is going to be that moment I reference in 10 years time, when I'm like, oh, my coffee is lukewarm, life is hard, it's like our perspective, So I think getting that external, just perspective on how things can be and seeing many different ways of life, allows us to view our home environment or our more familiar environment then through a different lens and be, as you said, more open then to if something changes. If we have knowledge and awareness of what exists out there, then it doesn't seem such a big deal. Yeah. In my experience anyway. And also, you never know what the future holds for you. So I didn't know, I stay in Berlin now almost for, 3 years, and start my own practice. I didn't know that. I always wanted to have my own studio, but I never knew when or where it's going to happen. And then it kind of came to me naturally.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think if you stay curious and take like, I don't know, the opportunities that life presents you, then you still, like, you can always grow, you can always move somewhere, and you can always, I don't know, enhance your skills or like your personal development.
Totally. There's that story of the Chinese farmer with the horse. Don't know if you've heard that one.
I think Renee told me. Yeah.
Aha.
Yeah.
So where it's, well, for the folks back home, it's like, so this man has a horse. The Chinese farmer has a horse who runs away, and then all the villagers come around and say, "Oh, it's so sad. Your horse ran away. You must be so sad." It's a terrible tragedy. He goes, "Maybe." Then the next day, the horse comes back with 12 other horses, and they go, "Wow, such a lucky event. You must be so happy. This is great." And he goes, "Maybe." Then his son tries to tame one of the new horses and gets kicked off and breaks his shoulder. They say, "Wow, so unlucky. Maybe." Yeah. The next day, the army come to take people to the army, and because he has his shoulder messed up, he says, so lucky, maybe.
Yeah.
So it's like life is going to throw events, and it's just the frame we put in it that makes it like decide if that's going to be something that supports us or not. So you could say, for instance, early on, dyslexia, that's such a terrible thing.
Yeah.
However, would you maybe have had the same exposure to those cultures like as easily
Not
if
really.
you were just like hanging out in Germany and like...
Yeah, not really. Yeah. So I'm extremely happy. And like your weakness becomes a strength in the end.
Paint to purpose,
right?
that's it.
So, yeah.
Love that. So the journey, it sounds like, from originally like this creative pursuit and like following these jobs, particularly in Milan, you said as well, was like a big breakthrough moment.
Yeah.
And then in New York as well.
Yeah.
So how has the transition been for you, going from being a creative in an organization and working under people, we'll say, maybe with some degree of autonomy, but still in a firm, to running your own company? What have been the big kind of sticking points or transitions you've had to make?
Well, I mean, this is why I came to you guys, right? I don't know. I think at the beginning, when I started to have my team, like becoming this leader or boss position, or like, I mean, it's still, everything is really new for me, those challenges. Like, I think when you're a designer, you always think, oh, like if I have my own practice, all I need is a client, right? Like a client that trusts me, like we make a great project, that's it. But then you maybe have like 2 or 3 clients, and then you have people working for you, and you try to build a team. And I don't know, I think that was the biggest challenge for me, because as soon as you have a team, you really need to be a leader and tell people what to do. And that's particularly not really good what I liked about a team.
Sure, yeah.
I liked about a team, like to hang out with people, like have good moments. I had a super nice team when I worked for a company in Hamburg. Like it was super, like we felt like a family. We hung out, like we had so many events together, and I always wanted to recreate this. But like, of course, you cannot just have a beautiful atmosphere from day one. Like you also need to work at some point. You need to have some expectations. And I kind of learned that the hard way. But I think I noticed that I probably might need some support. And when I listened to the podcast on the way to Newark and heard about you guys, I was just like, maybe that's something I really want to look into, because I had experience with meditation, breathwork, yoga before, and I always felt it was super beneficial. And that's just now, I think, a new combination where you can think about your growth in your company, where you want to go, what is your core values, and always come back to this. Doesn't matter how crazy your, day-to-day is, or, the challenges you get presented, you always can. Like it gives you the opportunity and the tools to center back on the outlook, like where I want to go.
Yeah, I love that. I'm glad it's been of use and of support.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
What would you say, we can come to maybe some of those challenges and go deeper into them, but what would you say naturally are some of the strengths that you have that make you already contribute to being a competent leader?
I think I'm pretty good at seeing what people can do, like their abilities. Because when I was in school, I I had a lot of disabilities, and I always needed to see where can I get this information, like who's good in what. So I kind of give a bit of
Work the
information.
room a bit, you know.
You know what I mean? And I don't know. I always was really close friends with people that were extremely smart, and I always admired that too. But I think building your own team is also now seeing not only getting my projection, what I want. Like I don't only need creative people in the team who like dreaming and have visions. I also need people that are extremely organized, like, I don't know, getting the job done. And I think I'm really good in seeing those skill sets. Like, and then, I don't know, this is also what, I mean, it's challenging, but I think it's also a big strength of mine because I always, like, I was never relying on myself so much, you know? Like, my brother was always a straight A in school, but he's super self-reliant. So he cannot really see, like, I would say he cannot really see strengths of others because he's always focused on what I can do better. But that's just not my personality. I also think a good project is always done by a great team. Like, I think you can be so much greater when you have a great team. Like, that's just, I don't know. What's different?
And I'd imagine it's different. Like, even if you were in a leadership position in a company where there's clearly defined roles and structures, and you step into that role, and then it's like everyone knows the deal. I think it's probably a different beast when you're the one also creating the structure of the company.
Of course.
And then there's this thing of like, we're all, as you said, hanging out, you know, we're all just here, but then what happens? Exactly. And there needs to be like an intrinsic, like someone needs to set the tone of what's happening. So what have you been doing to try and do more of that? Have you stepped more into that position?
I think I just tried to give the team more structure. It also helps me a lot. So we have like Monday meetings now, so everyone knows what to do basically. And so I think I just really try to give more structure with like, I don't know, being close on what they do. It's like we're really, like, I'm still really in the team building process. So it's so much to do. And then you have the day-to-day where you just need to react. So I don't know. I mean, that's why I listen to On the Way to New Work, right? To get new skill sets and idea what you can do and how you can, I don't know, grow a team. That's also fun. Like, I think I'm so privileged that I'm allowed to do what's been nice, like working with the nice fabrics and finishes. I really love what I do. So I think it should be also fun for everybody who like surrounds me working with me.
Totally. That's definitely a secret ingredient. Let everyone else enjoy it as well. So there's some of the strengths, or the natural qualities. What would you say have been some of the growth pains for you stepping into that leadership role? Like, what have been the main, we'll say, things that have come up along the way in the last, let's say, 6-12 months that have really challenged you to grow so you can be a better leader?
I think setting boundaries.
So what does that mean?
So
I didn't even know what that meant until like 3 years ago, which describes probably what my life looks like, you know. But
I think setting boundaries in I don't know, what's your personal life and what's your work life? Like, I don't know, where do you get energy from? And then, I don't know, when you circle back to work life, like, what's your professional identity in that sort of way? You know, like, I don't know, I have to say I would say I'm like the too nice person, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And when I started my practice, I was worried that, how's everything doing? You know, is it okay? Are you okay? You know, tapping on the shoulder. Are we gonna do this? You know what I mean? But that's not really a person you look up to and want to be. That's not like a leader position, you know what I mean? But of course, at the beginning, like, I don't know, I started on sitting at one desk and like, I don't know, I just had samples in a dark room, like, you're piling up next to me. It's also, I was just so happy that people wanted to work for me, you know what I mean? So now where everything is like more set up and I don't know, we finish projects, like we have good references. It's also a bit of a different deal because I have this confidence. I can say, hey, like, we're amazing. Like, if you want to be part of our team, like, this is the deal. And I can be more clear about it. I think that was the biggest struggle at the beginning, like, to motivate people that and see what you see in yourself. You know, what's this? I don't know.
Totally,
that's clear.
Totally. So what I hear is that in the beginning you were like stoked to just kind of have people knocking on your door. So you're willing to go above and beyond and maybe tolerate some stuff, or to also with the team to be like really hyper, and then realizing that that isn't sustainable.
Exactly.
And then kind of at a certain point allowing the fruits of the work and the labor to start to reflect what you already felt internally.
Yeah. Pretty
Nice.
much. Yeah.
So what are some of the other challenges, that's regarding leadership in a team? What are some of the other challenges in your role or in your profession if you are someone who's a bit too nice?
Yeah. Sorry, can you say it again? Sorry.
What are some of the other challenges that might come up if you're someone in that kind of industry, that role that is maybe leaning towards the nice or pleasing side?
I mean, I think it's on around every corner, right? So... like, I don't know, maybe you might have suppliers that don't take you serious, or, you know, people, I don't know, other contractors that don't take you serious, because I work with so many different people. So you really need to be professional and really clear on any terms. So it's also the industry I work in is extremely male dominated.
How is it to be a woman in that industry?
Hard.
Sure.
Yeah. No, it's extremely hard. I mean, I think the interior architects are the only architects that are probably 80% female. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say any numbers, but it's like every time I don't know, studied somewhere, we just had a few guys, but like it was not really profound. So it's really a female, like you would think it's a really female industry, but then you're thrown in projects and you notice, oh, you're the only one who's a female. Because the guys on site, the workers basically are all guys. Then the contractor, like, or the general contractor is like run by guys, and the big corporates are all run by guys. It's like you're the only one who can bring in the female sense. That's also what it makes so hard, because if you have a table, I don't know, full of guys who just thought, I don't know, this is super unimportant what you talk about right now.
Let's make everything black.
You know, then it's, I don't know, I went to meetings in Zurich, and they always pretended not to find the server where the interior is with all the drawings. So it's like, oh, can you explain this again to me? Like, where's the server again for the interior stuff? And then I flew there every week, every Tuesday or something to Zurich, and they pretended every week they didn't know where all the drawings are. So construction sites just move forward, but they never looked at our stuff where we, you know, spend night shifts on drawing, like the ideas you put in there. But it's just. That
was when you were with the Milan company, was it?
No, when I was for my Hamburg company.
Gotcha.
But it's super frustrating, and sometimes you think it's a joke, but it's just you're just ignored a little bit. So, but I also think it's. You know, I talked to a client the other day, and he was like, yeah, I met another interior architect, and, you know, she was so serious. You just wanted to talk professional with her. And I can see how the job shapes you. And I feel like, do you really have to become like this? Like, I don't want to become this person.
Yeah.
Like, I want to, like, okay, I can be serious, but I also want to be fun. And as I said, like, I'm super privileged that I'm allowed to do this. It's a fun job. Like, why does it need to be so hard? And this is sometimes what I don't understand. Yeah.
It's a real dance, because like you said, your own personal boundaries of like, I don't want to have to change who I am just to do what I want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And within that, lose who I am.
Yeah.
And at the same time, there's like the reality sometimes of, like you said, predominantly male-dominated sites and structures that are probably people who've been in that maybe for many, many years, and probably don't, like, that needs to be a deeper systemic change for them to start to treat that differently, or to respect that, like, not even you personally, but that role differently.
Yeah.
Because they're just looking from a place of like measuring out this numbers or like whatever building, core building needs to be done.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there is like some stigma against that position that tends to happen from those people?
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, my position is the most hated on site.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because I make things difficult.
In their eyes.
Of course. I mean,
so how do you make things difficult? Tell me.
I mean, from my perspective, I just make things more beautiful and more unique and more customized.
Yeah.
And from their perspective, it's like extremely annoying because I always have an opinion on anything they're doing. And then they have to go back 5 steps to go, I don't know, 6 steps front.
Sure, yeah.
And so so they always push back and forth. Like we're doing nice drawings and then they push back and forth. And in the end, I know they just do this because it's easier for them to build, or, it's just because they're always trying to go the easy way. And like as soon as a client says we have an interior architect or interior designer, they know it's getting difficult because I'm not saying yes to everything. It's also not my job to say yes to everything. For my job is to make the most out of the situation, like to get the most out of it.
And so how does that usually work if, let's say, you got a client who hires you and they insert you into a project or a site where there's already maybe plans or there's already something moving ahead? How do you navigate that situation to ultimately get what you want and also the client what they want while keeping everyone happy?
As you said, it's a dance.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes I put sometimes I put my priorities clear, what I really want. And I think, if my clients have a priority, of course, it's always prioritized in any sense because it's their home in the end. And I think it's important that they love what we worked on together for, 2 years, because that's like the span you're working together. Yeah. So, it is, I would say it is really difficult, but sometimes I also have to put my foot down and say, like, Vito, like, I don't agree on this. Like, I really think this is now an important detail. We should pay more attention on it, and we can rather save some money on something else. Sometimes details are really important. There are some things, and also it's with oil paintings or like other things like this. They look only good from far.
Sure, yeah.
That's what we always say. So they're beautiful furniture. Maybe you see the Instagram account and they're amazing, but they only look good from far. Yeah. Like you don't want to see the details. You don't want to touch it.
You're actually in the room sitting on the couch. It's a different story.
So, and there are other furniture where you, just put your hand on and it's, the wood is like so round and soft and your hands wouldn't leave touching it, because it's so nice. And that's what makes a difference in the end. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And so let's say someone decides that they've just sold their big corporate company and they're classic and they basically are looking at buying a place, or they're building a place, or they're looking to redo their current place. What's the process of, if they reach out to you, what process do you take them through, or how does that process look like from start to end?
If they contact me, no matter what stage they're on, the best stage is that they're just building or they just bought a place. Then usually we do like a design concept. So we always write like a little concept. Of course, I need to get to know the clients before, so I kind of know what they like and just a personality. Like, do they like light colors or dark colors? You know what I mean? Like where, are they more the people that are outdoorsy or, like those those kind of things. And then we just, we do a concept for the place. And then things are getting more and more detailed. We're looking for contractors like carpenter, other workers, and see how we can get it done, basically. And then what we also do is we basically do the purchasing. I think that's something really new in Germany. When I lived in New York, it was pretty clear that the planning process and purchasing is like 2 different processes, but like design firms do it equivalent, and compared to sale, other people, they have a sales showroom, they also do planning, they do this as well. So I thought, I think it's a good combination to do basically the whole process, because in the end, if I do a design concept and I will give it to somebody else, you might not really get what was important in my planning process. So I thought it makes a lot of sense to do the whole round process, and also be there on the end of construction side, because also when I pick some stuff, And in the end, the client doesn't like it.
Sure, yeah.
Things happen, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
You can deal with it, I think, easier than somebody who doesn't really know the people.
Yes.
You know, and then, I don't know, you can find the best solution, fastest solution. And I think because we're also like a small and boutique studio, we are super close to our clients. And I think that's also the benefit. Like, you can always call me. Not after 8, no.
Boundaries.
On Sundays, Saturdays, anytime. No, I'm kidding. No, but of course, I'm available, and I see that everything gets done, and everyone is happy in the end.
Good. Yeah. Love that. With that kind of, we'll say, buying process, you know, that this high-end kind of supplying and buying, what have been some of like the most expensive or outrageous things that you've supplied or sold, like in terms of like everyday items that are just really fancy?
Handles, I would say.
Like a door handle?
Like a door handle, yeah. Yeah.
How much would one of them go for?
So we usually make the metal work in London because they're really good in it, I have to say. And they also really know what high quality is. So, I mean, you also have to imagine that somebody who has a factory in London probably has a different living and salary than over here. So and then also it's not part of the EU anymore. So
Sure.
it's also a big disadvantage.
Sure, yeah.
Which kind
Thanks,
of...
Brexit. I pay more for my door handle now.
So things can add up really quickly, and then prices getting ridiculous.
So if I want a brand new British door handle, what am I going to pay?
Depends on the design and the finish.
Best one.
And we're talking a pair or a single one. No, a pair can add up to, I don't know, between £500 and £1,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
For one door handle?
A pair.
Pair, okay. So as in both sides of the door? Okay. So it's not just like a one-way door.
And no closing knob, huh?
Okay, yeah. Hotel California, you can leave, but you can't come back in. Well, if you pay $500, you probably want to stay in the house for a while.
And usually the house doesn't have only one door, right?
Yeah. I've got a very, specific type of house. Okay, I want one door in and out, and there's only one way it can go.
Exactly.
It's kind of like a mouse trap, but a human size,
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
We had a conversation about beds before as well. Tell me about some of these like really high-end beds, because that blew my mind.
Yeah, that's another story.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's really expensive too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're really working with high quality fibers and fabrics, and everything is produced in Europe, like it's expensive. And I think in your day-to-day, you don't notice that those things exist. Once I went to construction site, it was an old house, and my clients told me, yeah, this is all old wallpaper, all handmade and painted. I mean, these days, you cannot really buy this anymore. And I looked at them and I was like, no, you can. It's just really expensive.
It's going to cost you.
Just so, that's a general opinion. Like, it doesn't exist anymore, but it exists. And regarding the mattresses, it's just really, high quality product where there's no glue, no plastic fibers in it. Everything is made by hand, also close to London and Plymouth. And you can see also, it's like tall guys, they're having fun at work, they're just stitching together the mattresses. The atmosphere is really good also when you visit the factory, actually. And everything is handmade, everything is custom made. Then
made by male models.
Of course. Only. This is how they're looking for new people.
Yes.
Bodybuilders and male models.
Stitched on the six-pack.
But you can see the detail, and they have 30 years warranty. If a seam breaks, they come to your place and fix it, basically.
The male models come.
Exactly. Exactly this person. That's the main reason why
Jennifer slashed the bed again.
Exactly. So easy, easy to sell. And and then it's just really about the wool, all the Shetland wool. I mean, you're from that part of the world. So you kind of know that's what the British are strong in. Their wool. So then it's just full with wool. And what's beautiful about a natural fiber is that it basically works together with your body.
Yeah.
Which, like, I mean, how does I don't know, plastic fiber should do this? It's just not possible.
Yeah.
And like a natural fiber has like the beauty of like taking humidity, releasing humidity, and and when you sleep and I don't know, you sweat and you lose humidity, liquid. Well, no, I don't want to go too deep in this, but like you can feel the climate change instead of just sleeping on something that is made out of plastic, and that's super natural. And if you think about it, it's also really logical. I think just in this world of mass production, where it was super cheap to have a plastic fiber, people just forgot about this. And I think that's also like my job. Like sometimes the world is so disconnected from like, the old world where not everything was so bad, So I mean, I don't know, they probably knew how great animal fiber is. And also, I mean, you don't do really any harm to those, you know what I mean? They just need to get off their wool every year anyway. So it's like also a pretty sustainable circle, like in that terms of like you don't, need to get the oil or from somewhere to make more plastic that ends up in the ocean.
Sure, yeah.
I don't know. So I think I love that product. I love to work with something that makes sense, but of course in the end it also has its price.
Yeah, totally.
But my clients, they just bought a mattress. They cannot hang out in 5-star hotels anymore.
Wow.
They just called me the other day and they were like, we always loved this place so much, but now we just want to go back home.
to our horsehair bed.
Exactly.
I think we need to make I think we need to make an advertisement
for this?
For a horsehair bed, yeah. Okay, so be something like get rid of your plastic bed, it's time for horsehair bed. Male models included. If that company wants to sign me up, just put me in touch.
I will. I'm sure they'll love it already.
Done. I love that. No, that's really nice. The reason I wanted to ask that, just because it's interesting for me to hear about some of this, because the term and the word interior design is, to me, as someone who has no real idea about that, quite vague. Or was quite vague, and then when I started to learn about the nuances of these individual things, I can see how if you're bringing a wealth of knowledge from door handles to beds to how everything works together into one story and one theme to make a place feel like home, that is very valuable. And there's a lot of detail in that I think the average person would also be quite ignorant to and maybe overwhelmed by all that detail. Like if I was... So tell me about who's the kind of person that you love to work with that allows you the space to work in that way?
I mean, the people that trust me and I think follow me in the sense. So I think it's a lot about trust, and I also, have to a little bit to earn the trust. I also understand this is their personal space, But I think in the end, what's important is like I don't want any harm, I just want to make a place more beautiful and give it a more personal and also, with the flow of different materials and textures and furniture, loose and fixed, like that you can, it's more convenient for you in the end. It's like, it's not that I bring up those ideas because I want to be annoying. I'm the annoying one on construction site. Hey,
again. I piss off today?
Yeah, exactly.
This client.
I just do this, and I have my principles or my values because I think in the end it's important, and it's, the last little detail that makes the place more unique, or like, the dressing room, when you touch the handles, the handles.
Oh, yeah.
I have obsession, obviously. But if you touch all the materials and surfaces and you do this every day, it's something that is probably something you never thought of, but in the end it also influences you. it influences your day to day, you know, and in the dressing room, you put on your armor for the day. You know what I mean? Like, this is your personal space where you can get ready for all the craziness that is out there and, I don't know, start your day.
Your bedroom or your bed, you spend 1/3 of your life. So,
Exactly. Yeah. It's more than in a car.
Yeah.
But like for a car, like a lot of people have an understanding, like this needs to be, you know, something good, like good quality, expensive. But like in the bed, you like, 8 hours, 6 hours if you don't get a lot of sleep. But again.
Horsehair bed in your car. There you go, Aston Martin. There's an idea.
Convertible.
Push a button.
Yeah,
Transforms into a horsehair bed. Beautiful. Yeah. No, that's great. And so, in terms of the next steps for you and for Klotz Interior, what do you have on the horizon? What's your plans for the next years?
Grow the team. No. On my horizon, I think on my horizon is still, I don't know, to work on the projects that I have covered currently and do my best to get amazing results, I think. And then maybe to find more international projects. I mean, we already have international projects, but like maybe not in Europe. So that's something I try to work on. And yeah, that's it.
Maybe New York on the cards at some point again?
Maybe.
Make me an offer.
So hey, no, yeah, maybe that would be amazing.
Yeah, what would your like ideal scenario be?
I mean, yeah, I think a project in New York would be amazing because then I could travel to seaside, of course, every second week and meet friends and people and hang out. No, I think it's nice to also get the international view of people. And again, I think that's something what when I was younger made me grow so much that I always like to get different perspective, meeting different people, seeing new ideas, and also now I really grow with my clients because they bringing me in the ideas, what they like, what they need, you know what I mean? So, and I try to write the best concept for them. So having a more international client will also make me grow because it's a new challenge for me. So, yeah.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah.
What would you say has been, because we've been about, I think, 5 months now, working together with doing coaching, breath work, and really diving into some of these topics and challenges that have come up along the way. So what would you say have been like the top 3, we'll say, topics or challenges that have come up in that time that you've been able to, let's say, overcome or break through or resolve?
I think the boundaries and pleasing part for sure, and that I don't always need to be 100% liked by everyone. Like I need to make decisions that are good, like in the long run, and not good for now, or just not, I don't know, avoiding maybe some issues where you think, hey, like I can deal with this, I don't know, in half a year and come back to this, and then already, I don't know, things went down, you know, it just went downhill. So I think this issue that I avoided addressing things maybe, and setting more boundaries. And also being happy like that I have to take the decisions and it's maybe not everyone else's decision.
Yeah, kind of it's almost like by the nature of being in that position, it's impossible to keep everyone happy. Yeah,
of course, yeah.
Like, and there's also the company to think about and the clients and all of that, you know?
Exactly.
So so it's kind of like the kiss of death a little bit. Like you take on this position and it's like, wow, this is going to be great. I'm going to have so much freedom and it's going to be awesome.
Exactly.
And then it's like realizing that, you got to let a few people down.
Yeah.
And do you feel you've gotten to a place now where you're more comfortable in not everyone liking you?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
How has that shown up or what's been different?
I think what I said at the beginning, that you have the opportunity, like every week with Renee or with you, to find my center. So I think it's really all about this, and then you kind of already, because you have the answers all inside of you.
That's very deep.
But
yeah, totally. I agree, but like.
But you kind of more visualize it, and then you also know where you want to go. So, and I think, that this is why it has been extremely helpful, in like the past, I don't know, half year. And I mean, I still have a lot of work to do. I think as everyone else, as everyone else in life. But I think I'm more happy with the decisions I made. Like I'm more content for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And had you done any kind of personal development stuff, coaching stuff like that before? Worked with anyone like that?
Not really, no. Just meditation classes and I don't know, yoga. That's all. But never we're doing one-to-one sessions, and so not so intensively.
Nice. And how, let's say there's someone who is like curious about trying something like breathwork, but they maybe did some meditation before and stuff. How would you, if you were to go back 6 months ago and describe your experience now to that earlier version of you in terms of what breathwork is and what the experience is like, how would you do that?
I think setting the attention, because I think you also have to tell that we're speaking before I do breath work. I think it would be totally different if we wouldn't do that. So I think, I don't know, speaking what's on my mind, and I don't know what's bothering me, or I don't know, maybe the new challenges I have. I think that's extremely helpful. And then basically taking this into the breath work or meditation, I would say makes a difference. And I think it's a super nice concept that I haven't really seen before. And because there are so many classes that are doing breathwork all around, but what is this worth in the end if you don't have a mentor that you can, I don't know, mirror your problems with, and then do the meditation, and grow from this? Because I think that's why I thought it's perfect. I was looking for meditation classes, but I never really felt, I don't know, never really felt the spark.
Yeah.
And then I committed to this one, and I think it was extremely beneficial.
Good.
Yeah.
Thanks. Good to hear.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, if we talk about surgery, we could just start doing surgery on different parts of the body, but ideally we'd want to do it on the areas that really need it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that my intention, at least with creating the program in the way I have, is having this 90 minutes coaching at some point in the morning to really go into these topics and to understand cognitively what's underneath it. And then afterwards, on the same day or maybe the next morning, to be able to take that intention when it's still active in the system and bring it in, and then almost feel what's underneath and let it go, or just to have those insights. And I think then it's a very intentional process then.
Yeah, sure. I think you kind of see yourself from the outside more in those breathwork sessions, and then I think you get an outside perspective of your worries, and you also know it's just a short period in your life, and it's not the end of the world, and there will be new challenges. And I think this makes you also more resilient in your day-to-day, because it's something else that triggers me now and annoys me, but in the end, all the triggers in the end are all the same, and it's about how you respond to it.
Yeah, it all just comes back to, am I enough?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
I'm still not worthy.
The classic, yeah, exactly.
What advice would you give to a founder or an entrepreneur that's early in their journey, maybe first year or two, they're facing challenges, they're maybe struggling a bit, and it's a lot of these problems are stacking up. What advice would you give to them?
Yeah, actually, if you say this like that, it's another good one. So I think the main problem is when you start your own company as entrepreneur, all of a sudden you don't have anybody to talk to anymore. Before, when I worked for someone, I always had a mentor, a boss, team leader, whatnot, people I looked up to. They always knew how everything worked. Yeah. And then you start your own company and you don't have anybody to talk to anymore. It's who are you,
a sailor in the ocean by yourself.
Yeah, and you're just okay, I need to set the sails now. Where am I off to? And you're I have absolutely no idea.
And all the crew are where are we off to? Where are we off to?
And you're yes, we'll figure it out. Yeah. So I think that's really good. Also with your sessions, that you feel you have somebody you can talk to, and then you have so many of your clients or patients are are in the same journey. So I don't know. I mean, sometimes you already says, yeah, actually that's the same. Somebody else just told me, and I think that also comforts me because I know I'm not alone, and I can. I don't know. I think speak to someone, and I don't know. Don't be shushed out. That's a dumb idea, or
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I think that's, as you said, a challenge. Like we spoke about that before, about like who are the people in our circle, and are they nurturing and cheering on our ideas, or putting them down?
Yeah.
And just the nature of like having that community and having that support from people who kind of like get it and are willing to like nurture those ideas is so important. The difference between growth and death, ultimately. You know?
No. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, we definitely want to continue to kind of cultivate more of a community around that, so that there is more of that, just like being seen in like, oh, like I'm going through this thing. I thought that was my fault. Like I thought I'm not good.
Yeah.
Oh, you also all have this exact same thing. Okay, I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
Few.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, we're all a little bit crazy. Nice. So have you any final things you'd like to share with the audience? Maybe if someone has been really curious listening to this about what you do and they want to find out more, how can they find out more?
It's a long name.
I'll put it in the show notes. Okay.
Klotz Interior. You can also find me on Instagram and just DM me, basically.
For your custom horsehair bed.
Custom horsehair bed. No, I mean, I also just do consultations, come to your place, and we can talk about colors and the arrangements. So it's not like I don't say no to this. It's just sometimes when you work on projects, like you really get into details. And I also love that, getting more into details and making it in the end perfect for the clients.
Love that.
Most fulfilling.
For sure. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. This has been awesome.
Cool.
Really
Thanks
fun
for having me.
to drop in, and first female guest on the podcast.
Woo!
There you go, ladies. Stand up to them, architects.
Nice.
So I'm excited to see what the future holds for you and where you take this, maybe stateside or wherever it goes. Be cheering you on all the way.
Cool. Yeah, thank you so much.
Very welcome.